Proud of the guys, the way we opened SEC play. Again, a very physical game on Saturday. Thought it was a lot of big hits, a lot of plays, hard fought, played hard. Which could have capitalized on some opportunities offensively well, but I thought defensively we were outstanding in the game. Thought we controlled the tempo of the game. And we, 15 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. That's 22 negative plays, which is huge. And that's one of the things on offense, one of the main things you have to eliminate, even if it's a 0-yard gain, is negative plays. That sets you behind the chains, which gives you a huge advantage, which we took advantage of. And then they even caused some penalties. I mean, got some holding calls and stuff because of the pressure we were able to do and how physical we were, and which helped us in winning the field position battles consistently. The defense was outstanding. I think a couple times wish we could have tackled better on the perimeter. Had missed a couple little tackles there. Got to leverage the ball a little bit better at a couple places, and could have been really outstanding. But played well, pressured the quarterback, affected the quarterback, got to the run game. Controlled the line of scrimmage, which was very good. And I know, talk about our defensive line, which did a great job. But I thought both linebackers played really well. I thought 45 and 21 really played well, fit well. And that's the other part of when you're talking about front people. I mean, your front's got to control it, but those backers got fit gaps too. And then your safety's got to come down on top of that. I thought York was outstanding in the game. I think he got freshman of the week or something in the conference. Congratulations to him, very good. I mean, I think he had 11 tackles. Coop was outstanding. I mean, spine and, how he fit, how he run things down there. And he was a spy at times and be able to get to the quarterback once it got flushed. And once we got the flush, and he can close space and tackle well. I thought both those guys played really well in the game. And they had a couple plays down the field. It was good. Deuce Harmon made a couple nice plays on the ball. Chappelle getting him back in there is huge, man, because he's such a big player for us. And how he did, and Bryce, Bryce made some plays, Jacoby made some plays, Damani made some plays. I mean, they did a great job offensively. Moved the ball well early, which could have got a couple touchdowns. Had a chance there once. We could have got a read in there once, but had a couple self-inflicted wounds on some hurry-up plays. We just didn't get communicated as far as snap counts and get that ironed out. But moved the ball consistently on the day. Thought Max come in, did a great job once when Connor got injured. Came in, we got 2 drives, we got a 3 and out, and got them backed up too, because we got a penalty on that drive, and then they had to punt from the end zone. We had the ball on our side, got a couple plays, got good field position, hit a nice play action pass, and got it to his brother and scored, and then that got us a 2-score lead. Then we got another great 3 and out, then come right back and got a nice drive and had a play action and got that really nice. And then at this point thing, we had the 3rd drive and was coming again and hit a beautiful crossing route. We're inside the 20. They call a holding call, which I totally disagree with. I mean, and what they did, the way it looked, but it was not looking back. But then, hey, that's part of the game. Then come back and then got to play again. We're down to the 20. Called another one, which we'll see how they rule that one. We'll look and see. I didn't think that was either, but that's we'll see. And could have put it away, and then they got the ball back after that, and then we were driving to do it, and unfortunately we had a fumble. And unfortunately we got a fumble right there. And listen, Ruben fumbled it. He's going to get it a zillion more times. He's a great player, like I said. That's part of it. Just got to keep it tucked away and go. That was a learning curve. And then we got the ball back and knocked around and stopped them. That was huge the next drive because they had it right there and then had a chance to get it. Drove the ball to probably our 35, somewhere in that vicinity. And that's why we took the penalty. Even though we stopped him on 3rd and 10 there, the field goal kicker, it's a 52-yarder. He'd already hit one. I didn't want the game to get to 20-13, so we took the chance and moving it back 10, and our guy still got to stop, which forced a punt, which was huge because that kept it from being a 1-score game. And then we were able to pop the run and get down and finish the game off. So physically we were able to run the ball. Ran the ball better. The backs, I thought, Amari had 5 carries. We had 90-some yards, had the big run. Thought Le'Veon had an outstanding game. You're starting to see him come of age and getting healthy and how he can move the pile and can catch the ball and move things. And then Ruben, of course, I think we got 3 really good guys that we can count on, which is huge for us and what we're trying to do. And, of course, Evan made a big play. I thought Nice was in the game, was outstanding. And he does so many things, too, that you don't see him blocking and adjustments and just making critical 3rd down catches and good there. Field goal kicker, again, Bond was excellent in the game. Starts it off with a 50-some-yarder and hits it, which is huge. When you can get that and know it, you got it, man. That's really big. Kickoffs were good. We covered well. The one they brought out, I think we tackled him at the 18, which was good. Punter, Nick wasn't on as much as he normally was. We covered well, but didn't hit it quite as good, but he'll get back in that groove. And we hope we can get a little more room in our punt return game for Nice to get him going. But, good SEC win. Not perfect. Got a lot of room to work. Got a lot of things to improve on, a lot more consistency to do. But got to get ready for an Arkansas team who I think is a really excellent team. They're 2-2, could be 4-0 just as quick as they're 2-2. Offensively, starts with KJ Jefferson. The guy is I say it reminds me of Cam Newton so much. I mean, he's 6'5", 250, 55 pounds, or 45, or whatever they say. Yeah, I know he's a giant. I don't know what they weigh him at, but he's big, he's strong, he can fast. He's throwing the ball excellent, making great decisions. He's hard to get on the ground. Breaks through. I mean, if you're a D lineman, he breaks through it. So you're going to have to make sure you wrap him up when you get pressure. Receivers, big, long, athletic, got really good ball skills. The young tight ends making a lot of plays. Odd 9 is making a ton of plays for them. And the backs are running the ball. I know Sanders isn't in the game, and the starting back, but they're still moving it really well and scoring 36.5 points a game. So, I mean, you got to be on offense to help your defense, and your defense is going to have to get off the field and make plays. It's very challenging in what they're doing. Defensively, the two linebackers, man, 27-28, can run, make plays. They're athletic, long. Jeff Coat can rush up front. 40, the big defensive end, I mean, can play up front. And what he's doing, Jackson. Gregory, the inside guys are physical. We know McLaughlin, he's in all preseason all-conference player, long, athletic at corner, really makes plays, and Nickel does. The safeties are athletic. They got a really good team. I mean, they play the special teams. They do a great job. They had a nice fake the other day against LSU and on a fake field goal and got a nice play right there and got down in there. So, I mean, they're going to do everything, pull everything out. They're 2-2, and we're 3-1. So it's the next step we have to do. We're going to have to play a really good football game all the way, and we've got to improve on some things to get better. But they're a very good opponent, and Sam always has those guys ready to play, man. He's a good coach, a good guy, and does a great job. Questions?
Right, Brent, and then Travis.
Is there an update on Connor Wigman?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be day to day. He's healing up. I mean, it's a little sprain, got a little swelling, and hopefully it'll come down. It looks like it will.
And to have a guy like Max Johnson ready to go, and
which I've said, you have two guys, and guys I've said in the beginning I felt very confident with, and what he did, and he came in and played excellent football and did a great job, and made plays and really led us to the game.
Would you evaluate the job Bobby Petrino has done so far? And does a game like this, I mean, it's a big game with SEC already, but his old team, does it mean a little bit more to him in that situation?
Listen, when you win them, they feel good. When you lose them, they hurt. So they all mean. And I know that sounds cliche, and you get a little, but you can't get into that part of it, man. You coaching this business long. When you start getting our age, you're going to cross over somewhere. You're going to have a lot of places. So I don't think that. Bobby's doing a great job. We're getting the ball around. And getting good balance, getting plays, getting points, and we're doing a good job. He's doing a really good job.
Down front, right, Travis?
Yeah, Coach. Is having brothers on a team when you have that opportunity, is that something that you particularly target? What's the pros and advantages of having those guys, especially in those positions that Jake and Max
Well, usually sometimes brothers aren't good enough to be on the same team to play at this level. I mean, that's a rarity that, there's combinations that happen a lot of times, but, I mean, that doesn't happen very often at that level, that guys play at a high level and really good teams that are productive and be able to throw and catch to each other. That's pretty cool. I mean, that is a pretty neat thing to do, and for them to get a touchdown like that, I know was outstanding. I know the folks were happy about that, and I know they were. They probably weren't at the time. They probably didn't think much about it at the time until afterwards, probably, when it happened. But they're just competing in the game. Both guys are outstanding players, and both guys were highly recruited at each position, and they're showing it in college.
An update on Jordan Gilbert and Noah Thomas.
Noah should be good. Should be ready to go. Jordan had his surgery on his shoulder, so he'll be out for a while.
Go second row, David, and then Olin.
Jimbo, can you talk a little bit about some of the offensive struggles in the first half of just converting from getting 7 as opposed to 3?
Well, we went down and had 2 penalties. We had 2 hurry-up plays, and we didn't get the snap. We got it, and one of them didn't hear it, and the other one didn't hear it, and guys getting anxious, and just that's all it was. And we put ourselves behind the 8 ball, and then we had a chance on one read. We could have thrown the ball, and we went past it and got to the next one and kicked a field goal. You put yourself, but you have penalties down there. It's hard, and we had 2 penalties on that one drive on hurry-up plays.
And then follow up
on the no-huddle plays. We got to make sure the communication's better and just get the calls.
Just follow up to that, too. In the second half, there's been a lot of adjustments. Talk a little bit about how you guys in the Miami game and in the Auburn game opened it up, the offense.
Well, I mean, adjustments that's good, and it's overrated, too. You know what you're doing. You're adjusting. I mean, what I'm saying is you sense what they do and how they're doing it. We're making good adjustments, but really it's getting the kids, getting the communication. We're not doing anything different we practice or even we called in the first half. We're getting the kids calmed down to make sure they see it and get it executed. I mean, you can make all the adjustments in the world, but if you don't execute it, it's the same problem you got in the first half. You know what I'm saying? And getting the adjustments to, not the adjustment to the kids, but to letting them see what's going on and truly what's happening, and to also just take a deep breath and relax. And sometimes, we've started fast, really, in all the games. We scored points early, but we were a little, out of sorts in the beginning of this one. I think our kids calmed down the second half, and we realized, took a deep breath, and we challenged them. Listen, it was 6-3, and then in hindsight, you wish you went out and played perfectly. But in hindsight, for me, looking back at it and how we got it, and once we got the win, I was proud of being able to but keep your composure, not panic, not do something stupid, and come out and execute 2 really good drives. And then I thought a third drive, which we'll see what the call is. I don't mean to keep harping on that, but it frustrated me because you're putting the game away right there, or putting it hard. It's going to make it very hard for them to come back in the game because you could have got to 24-3 or 27-3. And but our kids just keeping composure and playing the next play, and coach is doing a good job of getting to the players, getting the adjustments, or getting them to see what they need to see. But then the players just going back and executing that. And I think the maturity in our team and some of the leadership of our team did a really good job at halftime too.
Second row on the right, Olin.
You mentioned KJ's size.
Oh yeah.
When you have a quarterback like that, does that change the way you come up with how you're going to spy him?
Well, yeah. I mean, who it does it, or how you do it, or which way you force him, or how do you collapse, or try to rush the pocket, or every quarterback has things he does well and things he doesn't do as well as the others, and you're always trying to force them to do the things they don't do well, whether it's scramble their left, scramble their right, or sometimes contain in the pocket. Some guys you want to build that wall, and like say you want pass rush, but as much as anything, the worst thing a quarterback has, in my opinion, I'd rather have a guy run at me free. I've always said that. At least I can make him miss if I can see him. If I don't see him, it ain't good. But whether you take the walls and you collapse the pocket on them. You know what I mean? Certain guys, you got to, when those walls, like you're in a room and there's no hole to go out of and those walls are collapsing too. So there's different ways to affect him. We're going to have to do all of them, in my opinion. And there's going to be times he's probably going to break through a few times or two, and pray to God he doesn't, and our spies can get him on the ground.
And what do you make of what you're seeing happening in the SEC West and
I don't think it's the
results
SEC West. I see it happening across the country.
specifically?
I mean, I think you're seeing different teams. You're seeing guys who are transitioning 15, 20, 25 guys a year that you're not used to playing with. I think the portal and the transfers and all that has a lot to do with the consistency and what's going on in college football. I mean, you're transitioning on most teams, a low end of 12 to 15, on a high end of 25 or 30? So I think consistency, knowing schemes, knowing kids, competition, new players. I mean, I think all that matters in your continuity of how you're trying to play at the beginning, especially early in the year. And I think as you grow into the teams you have, I think that's affecting play. And that's why you're seeing a lot of upsets, a lot of different things going on, and the way play is.
Do y'all allow yourselves to say, hey, look at what's happening and what's possible for this team, or do you just have to always just focus on the very next thing?
I mean, as a coach, you look and you see what's out there, the big picture. But as a player, you have to live in the moment. You have to live in today. When you start, that's what I say. What good does that do to see what's out there? How you affect what's out there depends on what you do on a daily basis. So what you got to learn to do is understand what you can control. What you can control is how you practice today, how you prepare today, and then how you play on Saturday. And kids do it. I'm sure they're going to do it, but you got to bring them back in as a coach and get them to understand the importance of a daily schedule, a daily routine, and understand that if I do this happens, and then I'll get the results I want. I know that sounds crazy. You got to focus on that, and that's the key for coaching, getting them to understand that consistently.
Coach, back behind the lights to the left, Tyler, and then to the right.
I don't know if the neutral site has anything to do with it, but what is it about this Arkansas match that just seems to always be a close game between these two teams?
Well, I mean, you got two teams that are used to playing each other for many, many years. There's great history. There's great tradition back to the Southwest Conference days and all the games and how much they meant. And then when you play an opponent consistently over and over and over yearly, I mean, it's like playing your brother in a weird way. You know what I mean? You're out in the yard, or your guy you play, you're going to compete and play hard, and it matters. And it doesn't matter if they're supposed to be ranked high and you're not, or whatever. It always seems to always come back to those. That's what makes rivalry games and history games so great. And the more you play somebody, the more comfortable you are, so you know how to compete against them. And I think that's what all this is part of.
What was the biggest difference defensively on Saturday that allowed you guys to get so much pressure on the quarterback?
Execution. I mean, guys winning, getting on leverage, using their hands, winning one-on-one blocks. We brought pressures and we brought things. We know different things we did, twists in games. But guys winning one-on-one matchups and also staying controlled in the pocket and pushing the pocket. And staying gap controlled and not letting the quarterback get out. And when they flushed, flushing it to the right side where we had help and things like that. I think we played with great discipline. I think with great discipline, great execution, and great physicality.
Play back behind the lights, the right bend, and then chip down front.
Coach, seems like when Connor's been in with just the relationship with all the receivers between Connor with different guys shuffling in, then when Max had to come in, that they've got pretty good chemistry across the board. It seems. What would you attribute that to?
Practice, and what you did in the off season, what you did in the summer, what you did when nobody was watching. All the coaches weren't there, nobody was there, and you're out there throwing one-on-ones or routes or skeleton on whatever they do in the summers and do all that stuff. And I think good practice habits. I mean, we're learning to practice better, and you got guys that can execute, and guys are fighting and competing for jobs because they want playing time and they want the ball. So when they get their opportunities, they got to make the most of it. So you're practicing well, you're playing well, and we're able to do that. And you got guys with experience. When you have experienced guys who run and do the same things, man, you can throw the ball there. You know where he's going to go. You know what he's going to be. And you know the quarterback's going to get you the ball. You're going to play fast. That's the thing that I think we keep forgetting, is there's a magical formula. We're doing the same thing. We're just doing them really well. And we're doing it with more experience and more composure and poise. And we still got to get that way.
Right below the lights, Coach Chip Howard.
Jimbo, I'm wondering what was going through your mind when you realized that the Auburn player was running by you on the scoop and score there on the field.
Nothing. How in the hell did he get the ball? Because I didn't see it fumble. I didn't see the fumble. I mean, seriously, I thought he was tackled. I didn't see it, and I was trying to get Max's attention on something, and then he kind of, you do it in practice all the time. They run by you, so, he ran by and I stepped off the field, and it was going. And I shouldn't have been out there, but I thought the play was dead. When he got hit, I did not see the fumble. You know what I mean? I thought he went down on the tackle, and my eyes went back because I was trying to get Max's attention on something else, and that was what happened.
Shouldn't have
been out there.
Going back to the competitive nature of this series, especially up there when the crowd is pretty split.
Mm-hmm. It's neat.
How does that momentum kind of swing back and forth when somebody makes a play?
Well, I just think, again, that goes back to you is the momentum swings off the players. And when you're making plays and consistently doing it and being able to minimize the damage when you don't, try to get it back. But, I mean, that's why I kind of like that rivalry. I was a part of the Alabama-Auburn rivalry at Legion Field. So, having 50-50, having those kind of crowds, it's neat. That doesn't happen anymore like it used to. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of the old history of the game. I think it's kind of cool and neat. I mean, I kind of like it up there. I really do.
Fourth row, Rob.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
Can you talk about the character of Max Johnson after, I'm sure over the years you've had quarterback competitions go up to the very end, and the guy that doesn't get picked to be QB1 sometimes go in the tank. Can you talk about his character
I think it's character, but more importantly than character, I think it's belief in himself. See, I think sometimes that's where young players, I think, and at any position, all right, the coach doesn't pick you to start. And they say, oh, it's Chicken Little, the sky is falling. It's the end of the earth. And they lose confidence in themselves and don't believe in themselves. Max believes in himself. And he did. And that's one of the things I love about him. You know what I'm saying? And he's like he said, I'll compete. I'll be ready. I don't agree. Like you said, I don't agree with your decision. I think which is what you want. That's exactly what you want. But a lot of guys lose confidence in themselves and then don't prepare for the opportunity when it comes again. That's maturity and character and what he did. But he never lost confidence in himself. And you see it at all positions. You see it whether you're a corner, you're a DB, you're an offensive lineman, or I'm not playing as much, or that guy's not playing as much, or that tight end's playing more, that running back, he got 12 carries that game and I got 3. They don't believe in me. Oh, my Lord. So how you know the next game you don't get 12? I mean, games and coaches and situations happen up and down based off, a guy gets a hot hand. A DB gets a hot hand, he's covering a guy well, so he plays more that game. Or the back, you're planning on splitting carries, but that guy's hot and he's averaging 6 yards a carry. Why am I taking him out of the game? Or that offensive line group is working good together. They're pulling it back together. Let's stay hot. Just because one game you don't play doesn't mean anything else. And Max took that. Okay, they didn't pick me, but I still believe in myself. He prepared well. And like I say, there's opportunities in life that come in front of you. And you hear people say, oh, man, I never got a chance. You never took advantage of your chances, and you weren't ready for your chances. They may not come when you thought they would come, but they're going to come, and it's inevitable. You're going to get your time, so prepare for it. And now, is that hard? Yes, that takes character, maturity, all those things, and that's one of the things I commend about him.
And you mentioned when there are calls that you don't agree with, do y'all make a video of them?
Yeah,
and
we
send
do.
them to the
Send it in, and they tell us what they think is right or wrong, and we'll agree, disagree, and move on. I mean, and also how they're going to call it. And I send our guys in. If I think we committed a penalty and they didn't call it, I send it in. They say I'm the only one that does it, but
And do they
But-
like, oops, sorry, or
no, they just tell you they agree that was a missed call, and that wasn't a missed call. So
Thanks, Coach.
y'all just don't get privy to all that,
Down front.
which they shouldn't, and I get it because officials take a heck of a beating anyway. I mean, guys get on them all. And they don't mess up on purpose. Sometimes they mess up, but it is part of the game, man. It's they can affect it.
We'll go Brent and then Cease.
I know you're a college football historian. Has anybody brought up Tommy Lewis and Dickie Magel to you in the past couple days? The tackle, Alabama Rice, Cotton Bowl,
Cotton Bowl,
1954. I thought
coming
you
off the
might have heard
bench.
about
Do it right now.
Dickie Magel running for Rice, and Tommy Lewis came off the bench for Alabama, tackled
Probably a
Magel.
much more known story around this part, but he played for Alabama. I just thought.
Oh
maybe
no,
somebody
no.
mentioned
Oh,
that
you
to
mean for me tackling him on the sideline?
That's
You
right.
mean me? No, I wouldn't have done that.
Sorry, that was a long way to get to that.
Now somebody else that happened. Didn't it happen in pro ball somewhere? Huh? Did he tackle him? Or Tom? There was something with Mike. I know Mike was actually a buddy of mine. I have to ask him about it.
Woody Hayes was.
No,
Mix it up a little
that
bit.
was afterwards. That was
Okay,
after
that
the.
wasn't during a play.
Yeah, I know the whole story behind that one too. That's a shame. That was because that was after the tackle on the sideline.
You have kind of mixed emotions. You've talked prior about playing in a bowl type situation like in Arlington.
Yeah, I like
With
it.
that
I-
series ending after next year.
Yeah, I mean, I get the home and home, and I get all that, and I appreciate it because I love it. Anytime you can play in Kyle Field, I love it. But I do think those venues are nice and neat because they do give you more neutral site games, and if you're playoff games, bowl games, that type of stuff. And I think our kids relate to Jerry's world being in the state of Texas. I mean, that's where your state championships are played. That's where they dream their whole life of going to play. And he still is the Cowboys, most known, one of the most, or maybe the most known team in the country. And it's a venue that's tremendously, it's a great facility in what you do. So I mean, I understand guys doing it, and I don't mind playing there, but I understand bringing it home and home. I get it, but I do think it's a neat thing.
And Noah Thomas posted about his brother.
Yeah,
just
I didn't
wanted
want to
ask
say
you
that and
about
let that out. Our hearts have been. He's had a heavy heart. I mean, he's been banged up a little bit and getting healthy, but then heavy hearts. I mean, with his brother, our thoughts and prayers with him and his family. And like I say, his family, they're tremendous people. He's a tremendous kid, and you hate that for anybody. I mean, you lose a life at 30 years old, and it's sad. And mom, brothers, and the immediate family, and he's dealing with that right now, and we're all trying to deal with it with him.
Front left, Cease.
So you mentioned you're waiting to hear back from the conference on a couple of calls. Did they contact you about being on the field like that or not when you did something?
No,
like
they'll say that. Stay off the field. That'll be part of it. Yeah.
Okay. And then will you limit Connor early in this week or not?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to have to see when he gets out to the practice field and see where his status is. I mean, that'll be, if you get a ankle sprain or something like that, that can be, one day you could not be on, next day you could be running. That goes daily on what happens and where it goes and what the trainers say. That's not for me.
Can it be described as a high ankle sprain?
No, it's not a high ankle sprain.
To the left, Mark.
Coach, you guys ran the ball 33 times this past weekend, the most that you've run so far this year. Was that by design, or was that just how the game worked out?
Both. We wanted to run the ball, and we're trying to stay balanced. And then as the game went on, taking control and how to get guys back in, which allows which if you go back to it, what are both our touchdown passes come off of? Hard play action. So, you go back to running the ball, you're able to create big plays in the play action game and not just drop back game. You know what I mean? So we want to be diverse in that and be able to do all the things we do. And if you're going to make them respect play action, you got to run it a little bit. And we got good backs, and we were having success. Our guys were getting hot.
Front right, Travis, and then Donna back lights will finish us up.
With the running backs, I know you mentioned all three guys are doing well. Do you like it to see a guy separate himself and kind of be more of the feature back by his, or does
I like
it
production
matter?
out of the position. I've done it both ways. But it's good to have more than one because the physicality at that position, man, it's hard to go through a season totally healthy.
And we'll finish it up back, Donna, to the
All right.
left, Coach.
Coach, Max talked about on Saturday, somebody asked him about if he ever thought about transferring when he didn't get the starting job, and he said, no, this is where he wants to be. How much does it mean to you as a coach to have somebody in that position now with the transfer portal and everything buy in like that?
You'd like to, as you wish, that's the way it always used to be. I mean, now the portal, everybody says, I don't get my way, I take off, you know what I mean? And there's reasons to go. Don't get me wrong. I totally agree with that. But again, that's a great situation for him. And at the time, and when he didn't win the job in August, he couldn't have gotten the portal anyway. I mean, that way. But he wouldn't have won anyway. That's not who he is. He's going to sit there and compete and play and do the things he's got to do. And what he had. I mean, that's you wish just because it doesn't go right in the beginning. That's what kids. That's what the only thing about the portal that scares me. When young kids, when it doesn't get what they want or they haven't achieved whatever, it's work ethic or a guy's better than me at that time or whatever the scenario is, that I pick up and leave. That's the part of it that really bothers me. You know what I'm saying? When you're young and fighting through adversity, fighting through time, or an injury happens and you're playing and all of a sudden you become the guy and all those things, man, where is that part of our world left? Because I'm going to tell you what, when you get in the real world and you got a job and you got what you're doing, boss don't tell you what you want to hear. You change papers? You can't. I mean, it's not that easy. And we make it so easy early in their career. Late in their careers, I get it, man. I really do. And there may be a situation early that happens. There's scenarios to everything, but just because I didn't win the starting job or just because I'm not playing enough right now, just grind it out a little bit. Have a little work ethic. And scenarios and situations occur and change daily in this game. You know what I mean? That does not, about Max, no. That does not surprise me one bit, and how he thinks and what he does, and again, has confidence in himself and knew when he's going to get his opportunities. And again, have my hats off to him, and I have utmost respect for him.
And then were you able to catch any of A-Chain's performance yesterday?
No, I wasn't. We were getting ready for games and all that. I heard about it, and I'm happy for him, and it does not surprise me. I mean, I said before, there's little guys, but he runs great between the tackles. He runs maybe better between the tackles he does outside the tackles. And I don't mean that as a disrespect. I mean, he is a very underrated, his strength, balance, body control, and then his ability to catch the football. And also, what the thing about him, and I've always said, he is a highly, highly intelligent individual who is very instinctive on top of it. And when you combine those things with that kind of athleticism and strength, everybody talks about speed. I don't know if speed is his greatest quality. And I know that sounds crazy. I think it's his instincts, his toughness, and his natural ability to play the game and let it slow down. Because if you ever notice, for a fast guy, he was never out of control. A lot of your fast guys, if you ever go back and watch, were out of control a lot. If you watch him play, he was never out of control until he had to hit that gear and go. He's a natural football player with natural strength and ability, and I think will shine in that league. I really do.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.